Remember this guy? Hey, it's Care. Welcome to my take at the lake. Remember how cool this was? I had those beautiful painting napkins that I was collaging onto a beautiful book that was going to be some kind of way cool project way back when. Well, I wasn't thinking, as often I do. I just come in like a bulldozer and I just start things and didn't think about how that dark blue cover would show through my napkin. Because that's the beauty of napkin art, isn't it? That the napkin disappears. Genius. So when I got it all done and got my napkin, my beautiful one-of-a-kind, I loved it so much. That's why I put it on the cover napkin. All but disappeared. And all you saw was a messy, dark cover. So, as things often do in the craft room, took a left turn, you deal with it. So I ended up several take twos later. This is about take number 6, and I'm done. I'm done screwing around with it. Still has the napkin on, obviously. But then I ended up just taking acrylic paints and making something. And it's okay. It's certainly not what I had in mind. It's certainly not what I was looking at as I was creating it, but it's fine. And the reason I'm bringing it out of the closet for today is, I don't know if you're catching it or not, but Nicole at Relax Cut Glue pulled out an old project that she had started a while ago, and she did something she didn't quite like on one of the pages and sort of abandoned the project, which I totally feel for her. I did my beautiful cover and it didn't work, and I ended up with this, and it's okay, but I haven't touched this project since. And oddly enough, it's kind of the same project. Hers was her color glue book. I'll put a link in the description below. She is on fire with this glue book right now, and it's so fun to watch. You cannot help but want to start a color glue book too. In fact, I asked her over the weekend, because she put up on, I think it was Saturday morning, she put up a glue with me session video, and like I said, she's just so excited about it, and it's so much fun, and it's just cooking along, and you cannot help but want to play along. So on Sunday night, I asked her, I wonder how many glue books were born this weekend, because I know that that's infectious. So the project that I was working on is a monstrously big glue book project. And part of that glue book project is my own color project here. Now, we all do things differently. And what she has done in hers is she took a composition book and she took 2 pages of the comp book, took her washi tape and washi taped them together, and did, I think she said 5 pages per color, and then black and white, silver, gold, and rainbow, I think are how she has them separated. And again, part of my big random, it's not a big random glue book. I don't like random. It gives me a headache. So these, you'll see all these tabs are different in texture, doors, ampersands. I love ampersands. What else do we have here? Cuteness, words for nerds, dogs, of course, dog mugs, lunatic, all about the moon. So I'm gathering these things up in a glue book baggie, all different kinds of things. Now, the reason I'm bringing you this video is twofold. Number one, I wanted to show you how this turned out and what I plan to use it for, because I don't think I said what I was doing it for in that first video. I'll link that below too, just so you can see how pretty it was going to be. Oh well, it's all right. Second reason that I'm bringing you this video is because I don't have rainbows of washi tape. I have very limited collection of washi tapes. I don't have the spectrum. You can get it, and I'm sure she has it linked in her videos, on Amazon for about $10. You can get a rainbow of washi tape and do this. But if that's not an option, or you don't want to buy washi tape, or you want something other than washi tape, I'm here to offer you several alternatives to washi taping your edges, because that adds to the beauty of the glue book. No doubt, when you look at hers, there's this spectrum of washi tapes, and they're all different patterns. in those colors, and it looks fabulous. First one is what I've done here is I took my fun sprays, which are just water mixed with a lot of food coloring. That's all that it is. And just a couple 2 drops of rubbing alcohol so it doesn't get moldy on me. And I just sprayed in here in colors that were close to what the cover is. I may hit it again. The pink dried back pretty light comparatively, so I might hit it again. And since we're doing this, why not? Let's just do it. I just sprayed it. Now it's pink. I'll see that again because that was pretty tricky. There. Now, it's not as organized and perfectly wonderful as her spectrum, but it's done. 3 seconds. Putting those washi tapes on takes some time. Certainly worth it. I think it's beautiful. But here's another alternative. Easy peasy. Yep, it does get down into the pages, but I think that's awesome. I love seeing that around the edges. One of the things that I don't like, I did another small glue book. I'll share that in another video. One of the things I don't like is having to deal with covering up all this text. She's using a composition book, so it's a blank slate. I'm using a book. There's a lot to cover up, and I didn't quite like that idea. And I think this just gives it a little bit of interest around the border. Another alternative, so let's go to the way I have decided to do my spectrum. And by the way, this, if anyone is interested, is the Encyclopedia of Philosophy. I had to peruse first. I read a lot of it, parts that really interested me. And I came across this one, The Philosophy of Colors. So I'm gonna keep that with my color glue book. And again, this right here is my color glue book. The rest are different subjects. So I set mine up in the order of the spectrum. I'm starting with white, opera, which is a super hot pink, and then going through Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green. In the green area, I did also yellow and yellow green, like a lime color, and green and a blue green / teal. Then I went to blues, violet, purples, down to lilacs, back to opera, red. So it kind of goes through the whole thing twice. Yellow, green, yellow, limey green, green, teal green. And then I'm going to do black and white, silver, rainbow, and pastels. Pastels like those, I think they're macaroons, maybe French macaroons. They're small and round and super smooth icing, and I think they have something yummy in the middle. I don't know, but they're always usually in pastel colors. Pastels. So option number 1 is to simply spray your edges with some kind of spray. These fun sprays, I'll link the video below. It's super easy to make, and I use them constantly. I love them. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is to go through your magazines and look for your colors in long strips. For example, I have this that I pulled out for the color. I'm going to do this in my red part for the cherry, but it's got this beautiful pink to salmon, pink to coral color. So I could just trim that off. I'm going to trim it anyway, and that could be, then I just glue it on the edge. I'm not overlapping it because this side of mine is blue. So I can't have teal in the blue, duh. So I only put it on the one side. But on this side, when I find a strip of blue, I can do that if I choose. So once you have all of these, and hers she didn't use the same red washi tape on every single red page. She has red with hearts and red with stars and red with black, maybe. I don't know, but they're all different patterns and different shades of red in the 5 red pages that she made. So just because I only have 1 or 2 maybe strips of this doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. If I had more pages of teal, well, I would find different strips of teal to go along. So option number 2 is to go through your magazines and look just for borders and cut those out and just glue those on the edges of your pages. It doesn't have to be a full magazine. This is a letter, a junk mail letter. It's nice and hot pink. And so I'm gonna find my opera. Find started it. On my opera page, I'm cutting it in half, or excuse me, folding it in half. If I have 2 pages of opera, I can then just glue it, just like washi tape, fold it in half, and now you've got a faux washi tape border. Now, obviously it only goes halfway. You can leave it just halfway, but there's enough here to do another side. I'm going to just, once I cut that, let me just cut it. If you want it nice and straight, do it on a trimmer. I'm in a hurry. That's my theme these days. I'm going to take the one that I already cut. It's almost exactly the same size. So I'm just going to fold this other one in half. And now I have plenty. It's going to go there and there and trim off the bottom. I even have a little extra, so I could put that in my page somewhere for continuity and to tie things all together. But that is option number 2, cutting up junk mail or magazines just for the color. I started a long time ago because Cat Hand does that a lot, just pulling pieces of just things to use as borders. This is my Cat Hand folder file, and so there's a lot of pieces in here that are just color. That would be beautiful on my white page. Option number 3, you might have one of these lying around, either 6x6 or 8x8 or 12x12. This happens to be 8.5 by 11, but you might have a rainbow pad, and there you go. Cut strips of that off and act like washi tape, just glue it down, and you have your spectrum. You don't need to buy new washi tape. Of course you can, because everybody needs a reason to buy new washi tape, but if that's not an option, see what kind of papers you have. If you don't have a rainbow pad and you do have scrapbook paper, mine it for the colors. Mine your scraps. We all have all these offcuts. We're cutting off constantly. Look through your scraps and mine it for the spectrum. Another option, if you don't have fun sprays and aren't making fun sprays, just paint them. Get out the rainbow and just paint your edges. If you're doing 5s like she is, you might have to glue your pages together, but then paint a border all the way around. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can make it wavy on purpose, which I would do because it's so hard to get it perfect when you're painting freehand. But if you paint it wavy on purpose, all of them, well, that's part of the design and it goes a lot faster. You're probably going to cover most of it up anyway, but then your pages would have that beautiful spectrum effect from the profile view. So you could paint your pages. You could also do it the way I did with my sprays. It might not be exact, and that might be okay, is put them together, close your book, whatever book you have, and brush on the spectrum with your paint. You could also, if you're going to do this, another option, close your book real tight, might clamp it, and get your markers out. If you have Posca pens, color in some spectrum lines. Again, it doesn't have to be meticulously perfect. 6 pages, 6 pages, 6 pages. It can just say the rainbow and then follow that all the way around. And then finally, if you're a DigiKit buyer, which I happen to be addicted to DigiKits, I just got this kit for a project I'm working on. It is so awesome. It's like denim, very old, like very modern, sort of denim-y. It's a denim color, but with these old patterns on it. I just love it. But mine, the DigiKits, if you go into your Etsy account or wherever you buy your DigiKits, they have a list of all the things that you have purchased. Go through all of your lists and remember, oh yeah, I bought that red and green kit for Christmas 6 years ago. You still have it. You still have access to it. You purchased it. You can use it forever. Print out a page or 2 of that and cut them into strips, and there you have your faux washi tape. These are things that I printed out for projects that I'm working on. I have beautiful greens. I could cut them all out of one sheet and they would all be the same, but they're all different patterns. So if I wanted to, I could have all different patterns of green. Do a combined. You can do, if you run into a trouble finding the right purple in the magazine or junk mail, but you have the perfect purple kit, well, then there you go. Or you happen to have a purple washi tape or something like that. You can combine these. Same thing with the blues. I got these beautiful blues And now these darker ones if I wanted to do it that way. So to recap, number one, go check out Nicole at Relax Cut Glue. She is having a ball working in her glue book of color. Alternatives to washi tape edges. Spray them with fun sprays, food color. Watercolor works just as well. Mix up a couple watercolors and watercolor those on. You don't have to have the sprays. You can watercolor. Paint them just with some watered down paint. Marker, Posca pen, acrylic marker pens, Sharpies would work beautifully. Just draw in your spectrum. Just color them in. Hold your pages real tight and just color them in. Use scrapbook paper. If you don't have the pad, mine all of your scrapbook paper. I personally have mine, my 12 by 12s in envelopes. Red and green, blue and purple, yellow and orange, black and white, browns. If I wanted to do it that way, I can find my papers. Do magazine harvesting, which is great fun. Thrill of the hunt. It's so relaxing to sit down with a pile of magazines and a mission. I'm looking for edge borders. It can be top edging. If you find a great color, hopefully it's all the way around, and then you can use all of it. Junk mail, mine your collections. What have you already harvested? Can you use any of that? There's red and blue pieces in here, and teal, and that white is perfect, so I might use that. And finally, mine your digital kits that you have already purchased. You don't have to buy anything. You probably already have it. This was great fun. I now have a reason and an excuse to dig out. I call this, for lack of a better term, my color catcher, because I started out just doing the colors. That was my first thing, of course, but it's way too big for all colors. It's way too big for everything. But I wanted to have a one-stop shop, so if I felt like glue booking, I could just glue book dogs one day, collecting neon. So it's kind of like a scavenger hunt. When I find stuff, this is all about water. There's texture, and in the back of this particular one, there's a glossary, pardon me, an index. And I'm going to do whatever this will be all things that begin with A. All things that begin with A. Could be just letters A. It could be things that begin with A. Could be sentences that start with the letter A. Until we get to, I tore some pages out. So here is B. So then we'll start with the B's, C's, and so on. I'm sorry, C's, and so on. Through the alphabet. Nicole at Relax Cut Glue has about a bajillion videos on glue booking. Like I said, the color one she's working on right now is just so much fun. So jump over there and check that out. But also, if you're new to glue books, check out Caged Fish. There's one that I will link below that she goes through just all different kinds of glue books, because she does all different kinds of glue books, as does Nicole. But they're so inspirational. Something will grab you. And if you're new to junk journaling, glue booking is a nice, easy way in to junk journaling. It's like the gateway of full-on junk journaling. It's a nice, easy way in. One thing leads to another. You have fun with this. It is so fun. I'm glad to have this girl back out. Color catcher, I don't like that name. So help me come up with a good name for this. It's not a big random, because it's not random. So it can't be Randy. I think Shannon Green did something called En Masse, which is similar to Big Random, I think. It's been a long time since I watched that particular one, but they all have names, and it's just more fun, I think, when they're named. And I name everything. I name everything. So go find something to glue in. Go find some magazines so you can harvest some stuff to glue. Go watch the videos in the meantime and have fun with this. Enjoy. Love up your beastlies in the meantime. Mate at the lake. Out for now.